you're looking at the face of a people pleaser. I'm going to explain why I said that in just a second. But in any case, hi, it's Rash. It's me. We are back together again for the card of the month. And this time it's Justice, which is traditionally linked to Libra season. I'm using Afro Tarot by Jesse Ujazi this month. You can see the box there for the card of the month and the cards of the day. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. It's going to give you a chance to see the Afro Tarot in action. And by the way, Jesse is a fellow Memphian. I needed to get that in there. So in any case, you can see that this is a traditional depiction of justice. We have a very elegant person dressed in a robe. They've got a scale in one hand and they've got a sword in the other. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So, okay. The premise of this video, what it's about is that it's very difficult to fight for justice in our communities when we have issues fighting for it for ourselves. Sometimes we can use these social justice movements as personal proxies, and sometimes it's just not a good thing. There are situations in which someone may be going through something really, really intense and unjust on a personal level, but they're unable to advocate for themselves for whatever reason, and then they just let folks run roughshod over them in their personal lives. But then you see them fighting tooth and nail for other causes. And there's nothing wrong with that in itself, but it's just that the public fight for justice may not be coming from an authentic place. And now maybe that doesn't matter because, it's just about the cause, but I'm going to say this. I've seen movements go off the rails because of that misdirected energy, and because some people are using social justice movements as a smokescreen for not being able to fight for their own justice for whatever reason. So why am I talking about this now? Well, one reason is because, the card for Libra season is, here you go, justice. And justice is about fairness and justice. But the thing is, Libra wants everything to be balanced and fair, and everybody gets what they want. And there's this tendency to people please. And I'm also talking about this because I am, or I used to be, that person, that people pleaser who could fight for things externally, like dolphins and forests and old buildings and human rights. But when it came to myself, I had issues, and I still have big issues with that. I am very good at sticking up for other people, but what I'm not good at is sticking up for myself, especially in situations where, I really need to fight for myself, like in situations where I deserve justice. And I'm going to go ahead and just tell you about a situation that happened to me at an old job, and it's still having repercussions in my life. And I've been holding this in for about like a decade. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to, like, when you pull a justice card, I want you to feel it in your soul, in your DNA, that you deserve justice. Okay, so about the justice card, I mentioned this before. When we pull it, normally we focus a lot on the scales. We focus a lot on harmony and balance, and we lean towards that aspect of the card. But sometimes we neglect the sword in the other hand that we can use to defend ourselves as we fight for justice for ourselves. Okay, so here I go. Here's the story. In 2011, I landed a job at a reinsurance company headquartered in Zurich. It is very rich, very white, very male, and very Swiss. And my time there was very tough. I was close to the lowest paid in my department, even with my qualifications. While I was there, here's an example. I was asked by someone to explain why they couldn't call me the N word. And they actually said it. And they're wondering why they couldn't call me that because they've heard Black actors and comedians using the word. Another example, during a team meeting, the head of marketing and communications like pointed me out. I can't remember the subject, but pointed me out and said, "Yo, she's good for diversity," and did that in front of everybody. Yeah, I was the only Black person there. I will say I was mobbed. Just a lot of things happened. You name it. It was just wild. But what made me really like decide to leave the job if that other stuff wasn't enough is that I wound up having a line manager who was blatantly, unapologetically racist. Um, he inherited me. He didn't hire me. Uh, but in any case, the main event happened when we were having a team coffee, a coffee break out on the patio. And my line manager, and I can't remember what happened, like the discussion, but all of a sudden he started he started screaming in front of everyone on the patio in front of everybody, and he screamed this. He said, "These people are coming into our company and changing the culture," and he pointed at me. He did that, and he kept going, and he did it in front of the team, in front of the folks on the patio. He did it in front of everyone, and he kept pointing at me. And so here's where the justice card comes in and why fighting for yourself is important. Now, a few of my colleagues went to HR to report him, and I didn't. And I didn't because way back then, I thought I didn't have the right to fight for myself. I was this Black woman alone in a very white place, and I felt as if I needed to keep my mouth shut. So I didn't use my sword. I was focusing on the scale to try and balance out the situation or find balance in the situation. Now, if that had happened to someone else and they had come to me, I would have told them, "Look, you need to go fight." And then I started thinking about back to the time I wanted to get into the management training program. And I needed my line manager and the head of marketing and communications to submit my name for approval. And I hit all my goals and my targets, and I had gone above and beyond the call of duty. And I saw my white colleagues being accepted into the program. And so when I discussed this, wanting to enter this program in my yearly review with the racist line manager, and I talked about how I had done everything and hit all my goals, and he agreed. He said, "Yes, you've done a great job." But then he said, my hitting all of my goals meant that I didn't have enough work to do. So the next coming year, he was going to make sure I had a lot of work, so I stayed busy. He said that, and I didn't appeal because I didn't want to upset the balance. And maybe that's my Libra rising sign coming through in a weird way. So in any case, back to the tirade. Like after he screamed at me, like the entire week, I made a big circle around this guy because I was afraid. And also, I just wanted to try and find a way to make him happy because I'm the negotiator. Let's work things out. I'm all for balance. I'm all for community because that's also my Aquarius thing, Aquarius and Libra. So then during our weekly bilateral, like that next week, um, we were discussing business, and then he said that was all. But then I sat there because I wanted to give him a chance to apologize. And I thought he was going to apologize. But he asked if there was anything else. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, can we discuss what happened last week? And then he said, well, what is there to discuss? And then I told him, what happened last week, I think it's unfair and it was racist, or it could be conceived as racist. And he said, oh, so you want me to apologize? And I said, yes. And then he said, absolutely not. I will not apologize. I am Swiss and I have a right to my opinion. And my opinion is that you people are coming in here and ruining the culture of the company. This company is Swiss and it should stay Swiss. And so I am not going to apologize. And then he hinted that he was not alone in his feelings. So in any case, I went to HR, I filed a complaint. An investigation was launched, and to make a long story short, the investigation was concluded. But according to HR, I would not be informed of any action taken against the line manager to protect his privacy. And that was that. So I eventually found another job. I took a huge pay cut. It's just that I wanted to get out. I wanted to leave. And that's what he wanted. He wanted me out of there. But here's the thing, he's still there. I think he's semi-retired and working part-time or something, probably pulling in a salary and a pension that would blow your mind. And before you ask, it is very difficult to sue in a workplace here in Switzerland for a lot of reasons. It's not like in the US. The thing is, there aren't too many protections in situations like this dealing with racism, because there are not enough people of color here for folks to even care. And also, this line manager apparently was a friend of the old chairman, and he probably was and still is protected and padded by money and influence. And I can also say that, you know, these folks have so much money, they don't care what little old me says. But here's the point of all of this, why I've told this long story. The only way that we can have global justice and liberation is for you to know that you personally deserve justice and liberation. If you know that you deserve justice, you're going to fight for it. And because you're fighting for your personal justice, that energy, that pure energy of what's right, it's going to help you and us in the fight for global justice. You will know how to listen, engage, and really balance when you fight for justice, so you don't burn yourself out. And when you fight for justice for yourself first, you will avoid centering yourself instead of the people you're supporting. When you fight for global justice, because you're not using that fight as compensation. Because I see that happening now. And I know it when I see it because I've done it. So honor the justice card this month, next month, and forever. Please, please, if you're ever in a situation like this or worse, please don't do what I did. Get it in your bones that you deserve justice. Get it in your bones that you need to fight for justice for yourself so you can fight for others. When the justice card comes up for you, yes, focus on the scales, focus on balance, focus on fairness. But don't forget about that sword. All right? I hope this helps. And have a good one.